Welcome back. If you are joining us today, you are in for an incredibly fascinating deep dive.
Yeah, this one is, it's really something special.
We're unpacking a genuinely fascinating paper today, and it is titled What Strategists Can Learn from Mr. Beast.
Right.
Now, if you're sitting there thinking, wait, the YouTube guy, the one who, gives away islands and buries himself alive.
Yeah, it sounds crazy at first.
Exactly. Like, what does he have to do with business strategy? But just hang on.
Stick with us.
Our mission for this deep dive is to look right past all that chaotic entertainment. We want to unpack how a digital creator transitioned from making simple videos into building a sophisticated, high-growth system.
A system that literally rivals tech giants.
Right. Like Amazon, Apple, Netflix. It's wild.
It really is. And I think it's important to set the stage on why this matters to you, the listener.
Definitely.
Because for decades, strategy scholars really only studied massive multinational corporations. They looked at automotive manufacturers or huge tech conglomerates.
The traditional big players.
Exactly. But the digital economy has introduced this completely new kind of entity, the individual creator operating with the velocity and the scale of a high-growth firm.
Which changes everything.
It does. And whether you're, say, prepping for a boardroom meeting tomorrow, or you're starting a side hustle, or you're just incredibly curious about the digital economy, this matters.
Because attention is everything now.
Yes. We are living in an era where attention has become the world's most valuable economic resource. Understanding how to capture it and hold it is the modern competitive advantage.
I was just completely blown away by the sheer data machinery operating beneath the surface of this content.
Oh, it's intense.
Because when you casually watch a viral video, it's so easy to assume it was just a lucky hit. You think they just turned on a camera and caught lightning in a bottle.
A lot of people think that.
Right. But looking at the source material, it becomes abundantly clear there is zero random luck involved here.
None at all.
It is an obsessive, granular focus on a single core metric above absolutely everything else: viewer retention.
And there's a very specific reason for that. The platform algorithm is essentially a ruthless, unsentimental judge of human attention.
It does not care about your feelings.
It doesn't care how much effort you put into a project. It doesn't care about production value inherently. It looks purely at behavioral data.
Right.
So if audiences click on a video and stop watching after, say, 30 seconds, the algorithm immediately interprets that as a lack of value.
And it just stops recommending it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It reduces distribution. That kills reach instantly. And without reach, your growth completely flatlines.
So retaining attention isn't just a vanity metric.
No, it is the central strategic objective. Every single creative choice you see on screen, from the rapid-fire hook in the opening 3 seconds to the narrative pacing, is engineered purely to keep people watching.
So how does that translate to the rest of us? Because, optimizing for viewer retention sounds very specific to a content creator.
Sure.
But this concept connects so beautifully to broader strategic management.
It really does. Because successful organizations in any industry always identify a dominant performance driver, and then they optimize everything around it.
Like the big tech companies do.
Exactly. Think about e-commerce. They track 100 things, but customer lifetime value is the dominant driver. Or take streaming platforms like Netflix.
Watch time.
Right. Total watch time is the metric that matters most because it dictates subscription renewals. Clarifying one dominant performance driver aligns the entire organization.
I really love the analogy of a hotel manager from the source material to visualize this for you guys listening.
That's a great example.
Imagine a manager walking into a hotel on a really busy Tuesday morning. If their dashboard is flooded with dozens of different key performance indicators like occupancy rate, minibar revenue, average check-in time.
Cost of replacing towels.
Yeah, they're going to be totally scattered. They spend their whole day putting out tiny fires.
Making totally disconnected decisions.
Exactly. But if that manager focuses entirely on one dominant metric, say guest satisfaction scores, suddenly everything becomes crystal clear.
Because when that single defining metric is clear, all operational decisions naturally align to support it.
The whole team gets it.
Right. The kitchen staff redesigns the room service menu, not to cut costs by 10 cents, but to make sure the food arrives hotter and faster.
Boosting the satisfaction score.
Exactly. And the front desk staff changes their approach. Instead of rushing people through check-in for a speed metric, they take an extra minute to make the guest feel truly welcomed.
So having that one single metric cuts through all the organizational noise.
It does. It filters everything.
But, finding that perfect metric and figuring out what levers to pull doesn't happen by accident.
No, it takes work.
There was a fact in the paper that completely surprised me. Looking at his early career, there were hundreds of videos that completely flopped.
Just zero traction.
Yeah, practically none. And I feel like most people would look at years of low viewership, assume they just don't have the talent, and quit.
It's the natural reaction,
But instead of seeing those as failures, he saw them as data points.
which is the scientific method applied directly to business strategy. It's an incredibly experimental mindset.
Just test and measure.
Test ideas, measure the performance without any ego, and let those hard insights inform your next iteration.
That ego part is huge.
It is. They figure out exactly what sustains engagement and what causes drop-off. It's an analytical process of finding out where viewers get bored and click away.
And when you look at the actual content of the viral hits, the massive stunts, giving away huge sums of money, it feels like pure chaotic entertainment.
But it's engineered.
Right. I want to talk about engineering shareability. How do those emotional triggers, surprise, excitement, admiration, how do they work strategically?
Well, they deliberately design virality mechanisms.
Okay, break that down for us.
Sure. So ideas spread much faster when they trigger strong emotional reactions. If a piece of content genuinely surprises you or inspires admiration like giving someone a life-changing amount of money,
You want to share it.
you're compelled to share it. You drop it in a group chat. You put it on your feed. That organic sharing extends the reach of the content far beyond whatever the initial algorithm served.
It creates a massive multiplier effect.
Exactly. It causes audiences to do the distribution work for you.
So if you're an entrepreneur listening to this deep dive right now, the takeaway here is pretty huge.
It shifts the whole paradigm.
Right, because we're constantly taught that success means writing a rigid 50-page business plan and executing it flawlessly.
Which rarely survives contact with reality.
Exactly. Modern success isn't about rigid plans. It's about learning faster than the competition.
Through relentless cycles of testing and feedback, entrepreneurs in any field can discover true product-market fit just by getting an offering out there, observing behavior, and adapting based on hard evidence.
So learning quickly is the real competitive advantage.
Absolutely. But, optimizing attention and learning quickly is only part of the equation.
Right, because what really blew my mind was the reinvestment side of things.
The financial strategy.
Yes. In the early days, instead of taking those first YouTube paychecks and, buying a fancy car or walking away, almost all the early revenue was poured right back into the videos.
Making them larger and more ambitious every single time.
It's a huge risk, but you see this and you think, wait, this is the Amazon playbook.
It is a direct line to high-growth tech companies. It's exactly what Amazon did. Jeff Bezos frustrated Wall Street for years because he sacrificed short-term margins.
Just constantly reinvesting.
Right. They generated massive revenue, but showed no profit because they were building logistics networks and fulfillment centers.
Netflix did the same thing, right?
Exactly. Netflix poured billions into original content. Delaying profit extraction builds a long-term competitive advantage that competitors simply cannot replicate.
Because the competitors are too busy trying to take a profit.
Exactly. They can't afford to play the long game.
And this reinvestment strategy created this incredible self-reinforcing cycle. Larger investments made bigger content, which got larger audiences, which made more money to reinvest.
And eventually, that cycle outgrows YouTube entirely.
Right. It shifted from just a single product to a massive platform-based ecosystem.
Leveraging all that audience trust.
Yes. They turned that attention into consumer brands like Feastables, massive offline competitions, and even large-scale philanthropy.
It's the natural evolution of capturing attention. You build a foundational layer that can support multiple business verticals.
So if you're a leader or an individual professional listening to this, the lesson here is really about strategic patience.
Totally.
Whether that means funding R&D in your department or investing your own money into personal skills and upgrading your technology.
Creating assets that compound over time.
Exactly. It turns a temporary advantage into a truly durable one.
But we do need to talk about what happens when you grow that fast.
Right, the dark side of extreme growth. Because it's not just uninhibited growth forever. Extreme success brings extreme complexity.
It does. And looking at the strategic risks outlined in the source material, the vulnerabilities grow right alongside the scale.
The infrastructure just can't keep up.
Right. As MrBeast's influence grew, so did intense public scrutiny. Large-scale productions led to massive operational complexity.
Managing hundreds of people instead of just a few friends.
Exactly. And partnerships generated disputes over brand reputation. Plus, there have been ethical debates surrounding his philanthropic content and some of the intense production practices.
Now, just to be entirely clear for everyone listening, we are absolutely not endorsing any viewpoints or taking sides on any of these controversies.
Right, we are just looking at this impartially.
We are just reporting what's in the source material. Rapid scaling inherently amplifies these exact reputational and ethical risks.
It's a structural reality of business. Any organization experiencing rapid growth must adapt its governance structures to survive.
Because the informal startup culture becomes a huge liability.
Exactly. You have to update your operational systems and your ethical frameworks to handle that new complexity.
Which really zooms us out to the big picture here. This whole deep dive points to a massive strategy literacy shift.
It has incredibly broad applications across society.
Let's synthesize that. How does this apply to, say, public figures?
Well, for public figures, it's about using authenticity, building direct relationships to align your public influence with genuine action. It's moving away from polished PR and toward transparent connection.
And what about for researchers and academics? Because the data here is unprecedented.
It is a goldmine. It's opening entirely new academic doors to study algorithmic recommendation systems. Scholars are looking at how these attention-based ecosystems literally translate visibility into economic value.
It's rewriting consumer behavior models.
Absolutely.
And finally, for you, the individual listening, the vital importance of storytelling and continuous learning in digital environments.
You have to build credibility.
Right. Building personal brands and effectively communicating ideas is essential, no matter what field you're in.
Because the digital landscape is never static. You have to treat your own development with that same scientific experimentation we talked about earlier.
All right, let's quickly recap this incredible journey from the source material.
We covered a lot of ground.
We really did. We started with obsessing over a single metric: viewer retention. Then treating strategy as a science experiment, where even flops are valuable data.
The Amazon playbook of reinvestment.
Yes, reinvesting for the long haul to build massive ecosystems. And of course, managing the inevitable operational and ethical controversies of extreme scale.
It's a masterclass in the modern digital economy. And the big reminder for you listening is this. Whether you are a corporate strategist, a creator, or just someone trying to communicate ideas effectively, attention is the scarcest resource.
It really is the bottleneck.
Winning requires both creative experimentation to get the attention and highly disciplined management to keep it.
It's a delicate balance, but I want to leave you with a final provocative thought to mull over or explore on your own today.
I love this part.
We've spent this whole deep dive talking about how a human creator optimized his strategy perfectly for algorithmic recommendation systems. He cracked the code to capture human attention.
Right.
But as these algorithms grow increasingly sophisticated at dictating exactly what we see and engage with, who is actually driving the strategy?
That is the million-dollar question.
Are creators dynamically shaping the algorithm, or is the algorithm ultimately shaping human creativity?
Something to really think about.
Definitely. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll catch you next time.